Good morning, guys. Hope everyone is well. Let's have a little look at cable, euro dollar, Aussie dollar, and euro sterling. Okay, as you know, I am still short of pound dollar from yesterday, Friday at 146. Now, there's a big thing. Obviously, I could close out now for about 6% on this trade, but again, I've held it over the weekend for a reason, thinking that we're going to be below a weekly pivot and daily pivot, etc., etc. So let's just have a look whether technically I should look to still hold this. As you know, the dollar has firmed up over the last few days, so you've seen euro dollar, Aussie dollar, etc. I do apologise that I didn't manage to short Aussie dollar as well, but I'll go into that in a second. But as you know, euro dollar was very profitable on Friday at 7%. But let's just see where we can capitalize on further. Potentially, I think cable has still room to go down to the downside, down to 142 region, which again would make this trade obviously a lot more profitable than 6%. But I've got to be worried, is there any chance that we might pull back from here? Well, there is, in a sense. You could argue that we might get a little bit of a retracement up towards the 61.8 and then fall off. Or we could actually, if we did fib the other way, actually say that that's just retrace 61.8 and potentially we might start moving back up again. But technically I like it. We've had a lower low in a sense. Now we just need that lower high. But again, it just depends how much of a pullback we're going to actually see. Let's just put this down to a 4 hourly. You can see where the fib comes. So the 61.8 is basically where the golden crosses of the 4 hourly MAs. Now that's a pretty negative sign, the golden cross. If you look back on history, the golden crosses are incredibly powerful and a good indication of where the trend is going. Now, I did say I would look to hold this as long as I'm below the 4 hour 20. There's my entry point there at 146. So I've got the daily pivot and weekly pivot, the daily pivot crossing the weekly pivot there as well. So I've got to say to myself, if I wasn't in this trade, what would I be doing right now? Well, the question mark is I would still be looking for short plays. Yes, there's a chance that the stochastic, etc., might pull back a little bit, but I've got to say, would I be looking to short around the daily pivot, on the next baby silver cross or silver cross heading down? And the answer is yes. So really, I'm going to just, a little bit unlikely maybe in a sense, but I'm going to look to hold this. I've got nothing to lose on this trade. If it starts to break back above this golden cross on 4 hour 20, then obviously I'll close out and only make around 2% on the trade. So again, fair enough if that happens. But I'm giving myself every opportunity, keeping my stop to break in, as you know, and potentially with a daily pivot below a weekly pivot and 4 hour golden cross, who's not to say that this isn't going to start making a move back down to 142? Okay, so I'm just going to try and manage this position the best way I can. We're below weekly pivots, etc., so I've got to say everything's in my favour still to the downside. So if I start banking and then trying to get back in again, literally just a few pips up, I don't think there's an upside to that. So I'm looking for further weakness in sterling on a technical basis and look to run this for as much as I can. Okay, if it starts to break back above the 4 hour 20, then obviously I need to start taking a bit of profit around the 2% mark on the break back above the 4 hour 20. So I'll keep you posted on that, but I'm going to remain short. I might even consider adding to this position. I'll let you know if we get a nice continual of higher highs and higher lows all the way up on the 4 hour chart. I might look to play the break of the 4 hourly candle. So I will keep you posted on that as well. Okay. Let's have a little look at euro dollar. As you know, we shorted euro dollar, made 7% on Friday. Again, is there an entry point right here? Daily chart suggests no. We're not close to the daily 20. There's every chance of a little pullback. 4 hourly chart suggests what? 4 hourly chart says there's no crossover, there's nothing, there's every chance more of a pullback rather than obviously a short, but we're not allowed to go long, so we're just going to have to be patient and wait for the next cross back down again. Just look at this on an hourly chart. I banked just above the 120 level now. It's easy looking back, obviously, that it's down at 119. I think Scott, well done Scott, I think you were saying you were looking for 119, so very impressive indeed. I'm going to have to be patient here and wait for the next baby silver cross down. Let's just keep it simple. No point trying to be clever. You've got to wait for the next crossover before we get short again. What about Aussie dollar? Well, Aussie dollar, there's support down at this 80.61 level, previous two lows there. Again, there's every chance of a little pullback here. I do wonder, if we did get a bit of a doji candle, then maybe tomorrow I would look for a pullback into the daily EMAs. 4-hourly EMAs suggest still further weakness. I mean, there's the support. Again, you don't really want to be buying it here, do you, on the back of that? I mean, I guess if it tested right down here again on this one candle, and we got a doji, then yeah, like that, then yes, that's the only time I play reversals. Obviously, I don't tend to post those, but those are clear reversal hammer plays. There is no hammer candle here, so again, there is no trade for us. Okay, got to remain with the trend as much as possible. Daily pivots are back below the weekly pivots again. I think, on all of these, we've got to remain just with the main trend again, and that is, to the south side on all three. Okay. Let's just have a quick look at Euro Sterling. I said I'd look at Euro Sterling as well as my $3 currencies. Euro Sterling daily chart, what does it tell us? Tells us clearly in a downward trend. Do you want to be selling right here, right now on a daily? No. So again, 4-hourly chart, any different to that? Got to say no, there's no major silver cross. And if I go to the hourly chart, there is no baby silver cross. So clearly there is no entry point on those. I think if I wasn't in cable, I would be looking for a shorter gain, but I need to obviously wait for the break of the previous 4-hourly candle on that, or at least a baby silver cross. Okay, so I hope I'm not being silly by not banking down here, but again, the way the pivots are, the way the 4-hourly golden cross is, I'm going to be bold and brave and hold it. At least I've locked in some profit, and I will make at least 1 or 2% on this worst case. So it's still very good, still banking 1 or 2%, but hopefully we start to see 142, 143 region over the next 24 hours or so. Okay, that's the plan. Other than that, guys, no entry point for me at the moment in anything, but I might even look, as I said, to add on this cable and maybe have a 3 or 4% position. So I will keep you posted if and when I do add anything on cable. Okay, that's all for now. Let's have a cracking week, and just play those major silver crosses, play the baby silver crosses. They're clearly where the profit lies. Okay, take care. Bye for now.